Is my slide is visible to you all?
Yes, sir. Visible.
So today we are going to see the application of remote sensing and GIS for the disaster management. For the disaster management. Now till now, whatever the study we are seen, that is mostly hazard based study, and it's a similar one. There is no major difference between your disaster application of remote sensing in disaster and as well as the hazard management. So the outline of the presentation is what kind of application we have in a GIS for the disaster management, application of remote sensing in a disaster management, what kind of satellite we are using, what kind of service support with example, with case study, what kind of data set we require and we need for this study, this kind of study. So now you all know that, and you study in your other paper also. The GIS and remote sensing are very useful and effective tool in a disaster management because of mostly the main thing about GIS and remote sensing, especially the whatever the satellite and drone images and all this aerial photographs, whatever we get from the different sources that don't require to go in the field and take the individual sample and all. So you get all the data readily available with you via the satellite and some signals and all. So why this one is more useful in such a scenario, because you know that when there is a disaster like a earthquake, landslide, flood, tsunami, volcanic eruption, and cyclone, like this all are the disasters. When this disaster is happen, what happen? There is a cut down of the road, or there is a no. You cannot reach there. You cannot reach there to the your site. Okay, whatever the site you have, you cannot reach there due to the some logistic barrier, due to the some logistic barrier. So whatever the your disasters are there, whatever your disasters are there, so when they occurred, when they occurred, the area is having in so much trouble, like you don't have electricity, you don't have a transportation facility and all. So in that case, in that scenario, you are you don't get the status of that particular area. Okay, like if you have a landslide, if you have flood of the in Bihar and some Kerala and that floods are there, you all the what you have only the survey, the helicopter using some chopper and helicopter. So that one is also having some limitations. Okay, but satellite and these drone images can capture all the updated images or the site specific images, whatever site you want to look for, and provide you the what kind of situation are there. So after taking those photograph, you can assess the condition, you can plan out what kind of things are needed there and all, and then you can respond. So this is how you can proceed for such scenario. So GIS and remote sensing are very useful. I explained what kind of usefulness, what kind of importance of this thing for the disaster management. You know that India is vulnerable to natural and man-made disaster. uh, you can have the data set, and you can look the data set of India now from the last 3 to 5 years. Even though you can also, if you are hearing a news, or if you are daily watching a news channel and all, what you can see that you can have a different disaster, like you have a one or two cyclone after every 6 months. So the intensity and the frequency of the earth of these disasters have been increased significantly in the last few years. Reason behind this increase may be the natural cycle is intensified, maybe some man-made factors is added, but whatever the things are there, but we are totally agree with the thing that our disaster event increased significantly in the last few years. Okay, now you can have some the cyclone, Tote cyclone, Apan, and whatever there is a number of cyclone in last 2 to 3 years. Okay, if you are remembering, there is some cyclone in the West Bengal where the wind speed is a very much 160 to 180 kilometer per hour and all. So you have that kind of disaster. So this is a one cyclone. Then you have a earthquake. In earthquake, you have a earthquake in some part of the northern India in Amritsar, and that one it's not that much of disaster because of the intensity, and the location of the earthquake is far from the main center. But you have this one, and you have a fear of having this kind of things. Then you have a landslide. There is a daily landslide. There is some landslide in the north eastern side of the India, where you have a more hilly terrain, and then you have a western and your eastern Indian side. So you have this kind of scenario, this kind of valleys as a you can say the vulnerable areas to have such kind of disaster. Currently, socio-economic and geospatial data is more useful for management and planning of disasters, as well as tackling the disastrous condition. Now, what the conditions in our hand? So, can we stop such a disaster? After assessing all the things and all the condition, your answer may be no, or we can control, but we cannot totally stop the disaster. Disaster is a naturally occurring phenomena, and it, you can have a more good planning and tackling strategies for this one, but you cannot stop the disaster. So disaster made to become, and so the what kind of things in your hand? There is a management and planning of disaster. What is in your hand? In your hand, you have a management, and you can do the management and planning of this disaster. So GIS, remote sensing, GPS, these are the very useful for the disaster management application for decision making. GIS is useful for hazard zone mapping, and during the emergency condition, mitigation of people can easily possible with this map. So the what kind of things, what kind of operation you are doing in the GIS, you can make a hazard map of any area, a hazard map of any area. Hazard is just a probability of having this disaster, and when that happens, it is known as disaster, some event. So that is the basic difference between this hazard and disaster. So when you have a hazard zone mapping, means which area is more vulnerable, which area is least vulnerable, in case of the that event is occur or some like for example, if you have a flood, if the flood is occur in that area, what is the best route, what is the best route to have to evacuate the people from that area? What is the best route you have to evacuate the people from that area? So you have a map, hazard map, and you know that what kind of scenario can be happen if there is a flood is occurred, if the height of flood is more than something like 2 to 3 meter, 5 meter, or somewhere like that. If the height of that flood is a 2 meter, 3 meter, what is the condition? If there is a height of flood is a 2 meter, if there is a height of flood is a 3 meter, so that all scenario you are consider, and considering this all scenario, you have a, what we can say, the uh, disaster management because of this all the operation. Now you have a GIS. You may know that Earth study of Earth information for capturing the imaging and managing, analyzing, understanding the information. A system is a set of software, hardware, and data. So this is a GIS. You already studied in a GIS paper what is GIS, what exactly the component of GIS and all. So this is a different type of GIS data you are using. So I'm not going into the detailed one because you already studied in the other paper, the separate paper of GIS. So GIS, you can, what we are going to see here, we are just going to see here what kind of application of this GIS and remote sensing in disaster management. So the application of GIS in such a disaster management, the first application is identification of cyclone sheltered location, use in a automated weather station, preparation of district vulnerability map, strengthening the embankment, repair a road, identification of weak point in the embankment, preparing a base map indicating location. So what kind of application you have, what kind of application you have for this now you can identify the cyclone shelter location. Means if there is a cyclone, if there is a cyclone, what is the best route and what kind of how you can migrate people from one place to another place using this cyclone shelter location. So you should know where the shelter location is there and what is the best route to reach at a minimum time duration. So if there is any cyclone, you can have a map. You can have a map using the GIS, and that map can be provided to the all of the person from that area on their mobile, and they can know that what or which of the place is nearby to them. So this is one of the scenario or one of the application. Then automated weather station, AWS, which taking uh, all the your what we can say the rainfall and all the climatological parameter is studied in the AWS. Then you have preparation of district vulnerability maps. You have a preparation of district vulnerability maps, strengthening the embankment, strengthening the of embankment, repair of roads. So you can repair roads, identification of weak point in the embankment, preparing the base map indicating location. So this is all are the application of your GIS. Then you know that what is the remote sensing. Remote sensing is a geospatial technology that sample, imitate, and reflect. So it is when you don't have without a physical contact, you can get the information, that is your remote sensing. And this is the best thing about remote sensing. You can characterize the physical characteristic of an area without making a physical contact. That is the best thing about remote sensing. So remote sensing measure the earth using sensor on aeroplane and satellites. So you have this all the satellites. You have all these satellites, and satellites is useful for the this one, useful for the uh, management and this all. Okay. So next is application of remote sensing in disaster management. What kind of application you have in a disaster management? What is the application of remote sensing in disaster management? The first application, what is the first disaster is a earthquake. Your earthquake is the first disaster. So what is the earthquake? We already studied what is the earthquake. Earthquake is a shaking of the earth, shaking of the earth due to the force which is available from the inside, shaking of the earth from the your inside the earth. Then you have a landslide. Then you have a landslide. So landslide is what the landslides are. Landslide is a mass when your mass is there in the your what we can say the when the mass is falling due to the gravitational pull or some other factor, that is a your landslide. Then you have a tsunami. What is tsunami? You know that the tsunami is nothing but the when you have an earthquake in an oceanic site. When you have an earthquake in an oceanic site, that earthquake is formed the your the tsunami. Then you have a volcanic eruption. What is the volcanic eruption? So this is the, all are the a different kind of disaster, different kind of disaster. Sidhu, can you please mute yourself? Sidhu, please mute yourself. Sorry for interruption. So this is all are the disaster, and these all are the natural disasters. These all are the natural disaster. Earthquake, landslide, tsunami. So now you can have a Indian image capability. You have a different kind of data set or different kind of satellite images from which you can have a more accurate forecasting of the system. So you have a high resolution imaging. Then you have some meteorological ocean and observatory satellite like Kalpana and all. So you have some targeted or some specifically designed satellite and a system which completely devoted for the disaster management. Okay, which completely regulate and completely monitor this all the disaster from the very near to the very closely. So this image will give you the very perfect picture and a very idea about what kind of support services you need for the disaster management. So for the flood, you what you need in a flood, you need a flood inundation maps. Flood inundation map. What is the flood inundation map? flood inundation map is just nothing but just a scenario in which if there is a flood of 2 meter, what is the how much area is under the water, what is the buffer zone, what kind of situation are there if there is a 2 meter height flooding are there, if there is a flooding 5 meter flooding, what kind of inundation there. So this is a different kind of scenario can be predicted using the inundation map, which required the DEM of that particular area. DEM is nothing but a digital elevation maps map of that area. Then you have a flood. Then you have a earthquake. So earthquake, in earthquake you have a damage assessment. Okay, in earthquake you need a damage assessment using you can use a GIS. Also, you can also make a hazard map or seismic hazard map of an area. So, what is a seismic hazard map? Seismic hazard map is nothing but a map which prepared for the vulnerability and the risk of the earthquake there. So you may know that there is a cycle of earthquake. There is a cycling of earthquake like after every 100 years, because the earthquake is a sudden release of the energy from the earth. So that energy to be accumulated there. The energy should be accumulated there, so that energy can be released after some time. That energy can be released after some time. So so this the release of the energy and capturing and storing of energy is can be calculated with some mathematical models, and we can know that what kind of cyclicity is there in an earthquake pattern. So these all are the study under the seismology and seismotectonic studies, neosysmology and all. So, what kind of study you can do with the earthquake? With the hazard map of that area or the seismic hazard map. Also, the damage assessment. What damage assessment? If there is a buildings are collapse and if there is a large destruction in the area and you cannot go physically there because of the condition of that area, you know that after the earthquake there is a huge disaster, a huge disaster in the area. So you can have a damage assessment using the or by the using the remote sensing and GIS. Means what kind of or how much area is under the this destruction, or what is the exactly loss of the property you can measure using the GIS in a earthquake study. Then you have a cyclone. Cyclone is a inundation maps. Cyclone is you can have a cyclone in your area. The inundation map is the same thing. What kind of a scenario will be happen if there is a speed of wind is like that and all this. Recession maps, damage assessment. So the damage assessment is a more important, that how you can assess the damage with how accuracy you can provide for the damage assessment, how much area is submerged under the this or under this disaster and all. So this is the cyclone or you can say the inundation mapping for the cyclone. Then you have a damage assessment and hazard solution for the landslide. Damage assessment is, or the hazard solution is, hazard is a nothing but a probability. So what kind of probability is there for the landslide? So you need a more data about the landslide, or previous data about the landslide, and what kind of slope is there, what is the terrain, what is the geological formation, and also this kind of all the study is under the your damage assessment and hazard solution. Then you have a drought. Drought is nothing but the monthly aggregate of your drought report, end of the season. drought report. So drought is a condition. You know that drought is a condition like flood. You have this is condition. You have drought. So drought is a can be you make a drought report on which area is facing more problem and which area is having not that much of problem. So depending upon this, you can prepare yourself. Then you have forest fire. Uh, Forest fire is having a active fire detection and damage assessment. So when you have an active fire, because you know that there is a forest is always located in the places that there is no such a human interaction and no things can be available there. So what you can do, you can have active fire detection which have the a damage assessment also. So this all are the disaster and what kind of data and what kind of things you can have or you can prepare using this data. So in the coastal district, if when you have a tsunami or such a scenario or some high tides and this can become, so you can take a picture of daily orbital photographs or the daily photographs. You can see that there is a 18 September, 14 September, October 2013. So this is the all are the picture from the different places. So this is an example of Odisha state, which is in a coastal region. So you can see that what kind of changes has been occurred in a different images. So in this picture, on a 15 September 2013, you don't have this all the water in this area, all the water in this area. Then you can have a more well early monitoring with reset. So you can have a different satellite which give you the more and more accurate and more resolution data. So can so that you can have a look into that data set and see that how you can improve this one. So this is a damage. This is a damage near Burhanpur. High resolution Cartosat 2 data. High resolution Cartosat 2 data. So you have a high resolution Cartosat 2 data and you can easily monitor such a things. This is the Nepal earthquake. You can see the before and after the earthquake, what kind of changes has been occurred in that area. You have the very big tower, Dhara Tower in Kathmandu. Using the Cartosat 2 image on the that, date, you can able to see what kind of changes has been occurred in that area. So you have a earthquake in Nepal on April 2015. So that one is in the Himalayan and this combine of the Himalayan this Nepal mountain. So you have a Nepal earthquake. Now we are going to see the some application of the how you can model the flood modeling can be done using the web application to develop a strategy for creating 3D model to visualize flood level within the study area to evaluate the ability of the cricket 3D model to communicate the flood risk on the rural areas to formulate the recommendation of future application of 3D games visualization for flood Risk management. So this is the objective of this study. So this is a map of the study area. You can study perform the study in QGIS, which is a free GIS software. The same study, same things can be to do there. So you take in this study they take least 3 data, SIM 2 data, uh, least 3 data, DM 30 meter data, and village boundary data. Village boundary data can be more and more accurate. So the processing step 3D floor model workflow is you can have from Bullock. One you can have this DM and LIS and study area. This one. So all these are the processing techniques in the 3D floor mapping. So this is a map of the area. Again, a map you can have proceed this one with QGIS using this. This is how you can look at the river. These all are the maps. These all are the maps which can be used for the different you can say satellite images for the flood and all. This one is automatically taken from the one satellite. You can read to the your data easily with the more accuracy, and this one. So the conclusion is for the 3D and web GIS applications provide better platform in the flood scenario. This provide a better tool for the analyzing and preparing for emergency measure. It is also present a near to really situation that can easily be understood. Simulation can also be used to trace, analyze undergoing utilities by making all the top layer about the transfer. So this is your all about how you can application for your disaster management. So we've gone through this several disaster. We just seen the flood mapping example of flood mapping, but you can have a different disaster. It's very easy to drive, no issue. And earthquake is a condition where you have a sudden release of the energy. When you have a sudden release of the energy in the surrounding, that is known as your earthquake. That is known as your earthquake. Then you have a landslide. I already told you that there is a more landslide in the areas of Himalaya and mountains. So you can have this kind of study there in the Himalayan region and all. Uh, then you have a tsunami. Then you have a tsunami. What is the tsunami? Tsunami is propagation of the of your what we can say the propagation of your volcanic eruption or tsunami is nothing but the when the waves is generated that will be affect the entire ocean. Then you have flood mapping, then you have a snow, then you have the flood mapping, and then you have a more slow, more snow. So this is how you can differentiate and differently use this one. So what kind of data is needed for the different thing? I already explained you that you need map You need a flood intrusion map. Flood intrusion maps are flood intrusion map is the map where you can assess the condition and giving some buffer zone and zone where the firstly you reach the water. Firstly, you have a water in that particular area. So then you have a damage assessment, flood. Then you have a damage assessment. Then you have a earthquake, like you have. I already explained you the seismic hazard map. You can prepare a seismic hazard map for this cyclone or drought analysis. Then you have a inundation map for the cyclone also, landslide also, forest fire and drought. So these all are the function and the kind of data set you required is a mostly a pre-existing data sets. Mostly a pre-existing data set you have all. So forest fire is also a very devastated event, even though they are very not much of the area of country is under this forest fire and this one. Either we can more issue with this one. So you have active fire detection and damage and this one. You can also daily monitor the coastal district. You can monitor daily coastal district and with the high resolution and with the technological advancement, you can do whatever you want to do in Google or Google. This is a MCQ question for the today's lecture, which is known as father of seismology, that is the earth sciences. Then you have the second question. The National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) is headed in the Prime Minister Office of India. Where is the Prime Minister of President of India's uh, name or where it is occurred? Volcano are volcanoes are the generally found where the intraplate pulls apart. So then you have a volcanic eruption material when inside the earth, and what is known as when there is a in subsurface when the lava goes out. There is a two different name is for this. So and then you have this International Tsunami Information Center where it is occurred, where it is located. So these all are the MCQ question. These all are the MCQ question. Can solve it out. Also maybe your LMS is updated shortly. So this is about disaster management. What kind of role of remote sensing and this all we studied till now. So this is a question 10 MCQ question in your screen. You can write down this one, this MCQ question and try to sort it out. Try to sort it out. So this is a different disaster and their support system, or we can say the different kind of scenario. So this is all about a disaster, a different kind of disaster, and what kind of operation we are generally perform in this disaster. So hope you understand this all. And while for the this all are the now updated with the updated satellite data, updated resolution and all, you can more easily and more accurately measure all these things. uh, because of the there is a advancement in the DEM also, there is a advancement in your satellite data also, and the other ground truth data and also is available to now. So whatever the remote sensing, whatever the GIS and remote sensing is, there they may be uh, have this one. So then you have a different kind of satellite also used for this data set, a different kind of satellite you use for this data. So case study, we already studied the flood model, 3D web GIS model, so which can be run the model and suggest you the what is the application and what is the benefit of using this one, can have benefit of using this one. So this is a different kind of data set you require. What a different kind of data set you require. Odisha and this Bihar part is often get your this all common there. So that's all from this lecture. Now to share stop my sharing.